Hey everyone, this is Third Eye Audit. I live in Georgia for the moment. Today I'm going to talk about a couple things. Um, I'm a new auditor and I like to protect our First, Second, Fourth, and Fifth Amendment rights. My main thing today is qualified immunity and what police officers know they can do and what they can't do. So to explain a little bit about qualified immunity, and before I get into it, I'm going to make a disclaimer that I'm not a lawyer. I am an auditor. I've read case laws on many levels, and if I'm wrong about something, it may be my ignorance of the law. But I don't think I am. But you never know. Because the law is written in such discrepancy that it's hard to determine what the law is. So, I am not a lawyer, and this is no way by far any legal advice. Alright. Just covering my ass. So, my issue is qualified immunity for police officers. Alright? Now, I'm just sitting here in my camper, doing my thing, speaking my piece. And I've watched a lot of auditors on YouTube and Facebook and, different outlets. And the one thing I've noticed about a lot of these auditors that I particularly don't care for is how they audit. Now, I want to be the auditor that stands up for your rights, my rights, every citizen, legal citizen in the United States that has. And it's being violated every day by our police enforcement officers. Now, and this is my point, speaking on qualified immunity with police officers. And I have to make one point clear. Police officers are people themselves also. They don't go to police academies to learn our amendment, our rights, the people's rights. They don't do that. They just go there to learn to be a police officer. Their training becomes part of in field by a supervisor for some departments is a year, some is 16 months, blah, 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 okay? But they're not lawyers, and we are not lawyers. Unless there are lawyer auditors, and there is. So, the qualified immunity basically is this, from what I understand. A police officer can make a mistake in charging somebody with an unlawful charge. I want to disclaim also, I may not use the best interpretations or wordings. I just know how to speak, how I know how to speak. So, from what I understand about qualified immunity for a police officer is it's kind of hard take that away from them. Qualified immunity for a police officer, from my understanding, is when they unlawfully arrest a citizen, they demand ID, whether they have a particular suspicion of a crime. Being a suspicious character is not a crime. It's not a misdemeanor. It's not a felony. All right? Well, they'll go, we got a call of a suspicious person, and the first thing, 99% of the time, they'll come up, you got an ID? And they have no right for that. Unless they reasonably articulate that you committed a crime, or in the process of committing a crime, or involved of a crime. I think I said that right, but okay. Moving on. So, had to blow some dust off the phone there. So when they just walk up to you, what are you doing? I'm doing nothing. Well, we need your ID so we can put it in your report. Well, here's my thing. And I watched a lot of auditors videos. We need auditors really bad, because the police departments across this nation are violating our First Amendment rights. They're violating our Fourth Amendment rights, and they're violating our Fifth Amendment rights. Okay? And I can get into those with you because I actually did my research and studied myself. Going back to a police officer, okay, they don't know nothing about the law. If you make sergeant, then that means you know stuff about the law. Because when a police officer becomes a police officer and he graduates, he takes the oath to uphold the United States Constitution, just like anybody in the military. Just like anybody that is an American citizen, you uphold the right to protect your Constitution and your amendments. The problem is police officers know that they have qualified immunity. What that is if I bring a lawsuit against a police department and a police officer and city councilman, or the state as well, they know if they truly have made a mistake, they don't have to pay the bill on a lawsuit. So what this does is it gives them a free pass. Sorry, I had a little bit to eat earlier, and so in my opinion, and this is my opinion, but I feel truly to my heart that police officers know that they can violate citizens' rights and take it on granted that citizens don't know their rights, and they're fully mistaken. The qualified immunity stops somebody that sues them from taking their pay, their retirement. That doesn't disqualify them from a lawsuit, which most times are going to be granted on a violation of rights. Now it's up to the state prosecutor whether they wanted to press charges against a cop, a police officer that violates a citizen's rights for no reason other than they need to show their weight. I'm a police officer, I got a badge, I got a gun, got a taser, and a body cam, and this is how it's going to be. And that's not the truth by far. I'll have other videos like this so we can talk about it and so I can get comments from people as well. But it stops the public from taking their assets when they violated your rights. But what this allows is, it allows taxpayers to pay a settlement. That's what it opens to. And my purpose for this video is we need, as a people, a true people, of our rights and the laws of this country, we need to strip that qualified immunity and make these tyrants responsible for their actions. We made many a people responsible for violating other people's rights within stuff that's happened. I don't want to mention none of it, but we need to take this qualified immunity away from police officers and make them responsible. Make their superiors educate these police officers that out on our streets that took an oath to protect and serve. Supreme Court has already upheld that a police officer is not there to protect any citizen. And I kind of have a problem with that. Because if a citizen is in distress, and I could be wrong about this, you know, what police officer would not help a citizen that's being attacked? And I've seen a lot of videos where they didn't. They just let it happen. Because, oh my God, he's got a camera issue. Alright? The police don't like to be recorded. It's our right to record our police, our government. It's our right to make them accountable because we pay their salaries as a people, not just an individual, but as a people. But we expect them to uphold the laws and the Constitution of the United States. And they're not doing it. They're being tyrants. They're making up. They're making up laws. They're enforcing false stuff. They're making false reports every day. Every day. They're making false reports to justify their actions while they're in uniform. I'm really kind of upset at how our police treat us. Because as a tax-paying citizen where I live, it is violated every day by every officer. Every officer. Excuse me. Food. My bad. You can scrape that out if you ever see this video. But we need a lawsuit against, and I could be wrong about this, but I think it needs to go to the federal courts and strip all states of qualified immunity, because that gives them the ability to violate us. Now, the courts can determine a little bit later on that it was unlawful to detain me or arrest me, and I believe a detainment alone itself is an arrest. And I'm thinking there's some case law that says it is. So, if you're detained by a police officer for no reasonable articulate suspicion of a crime, they have no reason to identify you. And they will use the identification failure to ID. We have, as a citizenship, we do not have to identify ourselves if we are not committing a crime. And the police officers know this. They can do it and arrest you on false pretenses and everything. And I hope everybody that encounters the police, that are encountered by the police, records, no matter what. Record them. Put secret cameras in your vehicle, so just in case they want to put some surprise package in your car or truck or whatever they want to do, because they feel like, I gotta meet quota. Now, this is accountability for police officers. Taking away the qualified immunity will make other police officers realize, hey, wait a minute, Buddy Joe, police officer, lost his job, got 2 years in prison, and lost his home because he violated a citizen's rights. And I hope that all police departments see this video and understand that we pay you. We're not out there to try to do you no harm, but this has got to stop. You have got to stop harassing the public in which that pays you. You take a call of a suspicious person, and once they said, I ain't doing nothing wrong, and you ain't even got a true caller on them, you can't ask them for their identification. And if they don't give it to you, you can't do nothing about that neither. You think you can, but you can't. So, start doing your jobs, police officers. And this is my theory. And I've heard this off of a certain person, okay? He's an auditor. And I kind of changed up the wording on it. And I'm going to go ahead and say it to you, and then I'll explain how I worded it. A police officer's worst enemy is a bad cop. Period. Now, when I started that statement, a good police officer, when I say a good police officer, that means he knows his job. He will make sergeant, lieutenant, one day chief, or sheriff, because he won't violate your rights. But a cop will. They have no true definition of the law. They're out there to make points and arrest, and they don't give a shit about you, because they go home that night with their family. I arrested this guy and I beat the shit out of him, and there ain't nothing they can do about it. Well, guess what? Cops, we're on you, and we're going to get you, And we're going to make sure you're not a police officer. I'm sick of it. Now, I also want to say that to all you auditors out there, auditing is not out to get a lawsuit. It is to make your government responsible, not to seek a lawsuit. I don't do that. I want to peacefully protest my government without consequence or repercussions. But some of y'all making this almost impossible. I love America. I love its Constitution and its amendments. And I will die for them as a citizen. We need to take qualified immunity away from police officers, because there's one thing that I'm going to say. Justice is blind, or not blind. No, as a citizen, not knowing the law is not an excuse. So why don't we hold our police departments responsible to them say laws? As a citizen, not knowing the law is no excuse. And it should be them as well. 6 months is all a police officer has to do to become a police officer. Then he's got about a year in a supervisor's vehicle with them learning stuff. And it all comes down to training. So, I believe we don't need to defund the police departments, but what we need to do is make sure that those fundings go for training, not more weapons, not being a police officer in full tactical gear, because you're not military. You're police enforcement. You don't need all that shit. Once you start putting that stuff on I'm talking full tactical gear. Once you need that stuff, then you become a military state. And that's not what the United States is about. I want our police officers to go out and do their jobs, know what their jobs is about, and uphold the law. And not make up fictitious laws. I've been a victim of this many times myself. I just wish I knew now what I know then, and protected my rights. I'd love to have more people on my channel subscribe to me and help me out in my auditing. Give me advice. Tell me what I've done wrong, what I haven't done wrong. I am Third Eye Audit. That is 3RD I Audit. That's the number 3. RD I Audit. Thank you. And hit that like or not like. Subscribe. Don't subscribe. Remember, it's your rights that are going down the toilet. If you don't exercise your muscles, what happens? They go away. Same with your rights. And it's happening every day. Every day. I love America. Peace out. Third Eye Audit.